Want to get more interest on your LinkedIn posts? It's called Conflict for Comments. Let's go. Today, I'm going to cover something that is a little bit provocative, conflict for comments on social media. There's a trick to the algorithm. I'm going to go over that. Algorithms on Facebook, algorithms on YouTube, algorithms on specifically LinkedIn is what we're going to talk about today. This is one of the many little tactics that's counterintuitive to everybody's thought process, how to get comments on your social media posts by using a light amount of conflict. I'm going to go over that today in my room. So today we're going to talk about a little bit of LinkedIn. This applies everywhere. This behavior has existed for a long time. Lots of people talk about trolls on the internet, right? We've heard of trolls on the internet, right? Well, come to find out, Diana fell into this situation here recently where somebody jumped on one of her posts and took off after doing some agenda that was unpredictable. I don't even know what he was trying to accomplish, but we all watched it happen. Diana texts me and she says, this guy's on my post wrecking shit. And I'm like,
hijack the thing.
What do you mean? And she's like, well, he keeps going and he's commenting against everybody that's there. And I tagged him for credit on something, which was supposed to be a positive thing. And now he's turned it into this like troll situation. I'm like, good for you.
Wait a minute. He was calling everyone on my post an idiot.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I have the post up. If you go to my profile and you go to all activity and you go to post, it starts out, send help, I'm drowning.
Nope, we're virtual. Do the 3 dots and get the link and drop it in the chat.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
So to tell the rest of the story, the concept of this, she's like, well, what should I do? Should I take him off the post? And I'm like, no, leave him on. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, watch the impressions on your post. What's going to happen is this guy's going to cause either reactivity or explanation within that comment section. And what's going to happen is LinkedIn sees all of this activity on that single post. I was not tagged in the post, but in my feed, what happens now is something that's really cool. This has just been released. There's a couple things that have been released in the last 2 weeks that are pretty neat. One of them is when you get notifications. This happened to me today with Nick Reed. Well, Nick Reed Smith. So in my notifications, Nick did not tag me in this post, but I communicate often and well with him on LinkedIn. So what LinkedIn is doing is it's seeing activity on this post and people are interested in it. So it's going to the people that he communicates with relatively often and notifying him about this post, or notifying me about this post. There's activity on this post, go check it out. And so I haven't clicked on it yet. I went by it earlier, but what happens in it, I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is all about. I go to his post and he now gets an impression on this. So the impression count goes up. The reason why is because he's got a bunch of reactions and a bunch of comments on it. And I don't know what the threshold is yet. I'm trying to figure that out right now, but 43 activities, the like or the one of these items is put on there and he's getting 13 comments on it. Now, I want to give you guys a little hint here. Anytime you're tagged on a post, immediately respond. I know many people, especially those who are a little bit older, are like, social media is dumb, I'm busy. There's a cost to not engaging quickly. There's a rule of thumb associated with your post. The first 30 minutes are very, very important. When your post goes up, a like is not as powerful as a comment. When somebody comments on your post within 30 minutes, you get a little bit of weight in the algorithm. It shows it to more people. If 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people start commenting on your post very quickly, LinkedIn is rewarding that person who posted with more eyeballs on the post. Why is that good? LinkedIn wants you on the platform. They want you to react. You are the product on the platform. Remember that. I'm going to say it every single time I talk about social media. Social media peddles our attention. If you're not paying for it, you are the product. Keep that in mind. Your attention on the platform is very important. More people's attention on the platform is very important. Once you start to understand how this works, you can manipulate the algorithm to your advantage. Does everybody understand this or have any questions about that part? No, okay. So what's good for you is good for, what's good for you as the poster is good for the algorithm, is good for the product that is LinkedIn. Just keep that in mind, okay? So we'll use Diana's example here of conflict in comments. Diana, what are the impressions on this post?
3,586.
Now, Diana is going to blow something out of the water real quick when I ask this next question, but realize that she is not the average person on LinkedIn. She understands how to operate on it. She has tactics and a strategy associated with the platform. So there's something skewed in this number that I'm going to ask her for. What's your average impressions?
Between 2,000 and 3,000.
Okay. So her impressions on the platform are exponentially above where they normally would be with 3,500 impressions. It's 500 more people. Let's level set this. Everybody tell me, Tabitha, how many people do you talk to in a week? Just people generally.
People generally, over 12.
Over 12, is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Diana, how many humans do you talk to in a week? Not on social media.
At least 20.
Okay. Moses?
I would say it's about 15 to 20.
Okay. Mark?
Probably in that range, 15 to 20.
Okay. Iris?
You're muted.
You're muted.
Are these one-on-ones or in groups?
Whatever
Yes.
you want. Just tell me a number.
Yeah, probably 20.
Okay. Susan?
It's, I'm an animal. It's probably 30 plus.
Cool. Scott?
Wow.
I'm right at 20.
Okay. Deb?
I'm probably closer to 30.
Ian?
Yeah, I'd be 35-ish.
Larry?
Probably around 15 to 20.
Sharon?
With all the courses I teach and speaking engagements, 60 or 70.
Perfect. Jerry?
About 40.
Cool. John?
I was going to say about 30 to 40.
Cool. I'm in the higher range of all that because I do meetings like this often, right? So 3,500 people seeing words that you typed, no matter who the highest number amount is there, is disproportionate. Somebody saw your face, somebody saw your name, somebody saw your brand. Okay, that's why impressions are important. Mark, that's for you. Social media means something, believe it or not. The concept of thinking about impressions as conversation starters changes the dynamic of the way that you approach social media. Okay, so even if you're at the low end and you only get 100 impressions on your post, that's still 200 more eyeballs that are on something that you put up. This is exponential power on the lowest level. All right. So anytime you put a post up, you got more people that are seeing your stuff. That's the idea. Now, if you want to be the guy that tells me or the girl that tells me social media is not impactful, use that statistic. Okay. Minimum level impressions is probably 100. If you're below that, you're probably not very active on the platform and you should do at least something to get active. Now, when we get back into Diana's post, she's got 32 people that liked it and 68 comments. This is a rare thing. Disproportionate amount of single button clicks compared to comments. That's pretty badass if you think about it. How hard is it to write words compared to clicking a single button? I bet you most of you, if you participate in social media, just usually like or heart something or do the innovative thing or whatever the hell the little icon is, right? Most of you don't comment. You're wasting your time and you're wasting the people's time that's posting. That doesn't count for much. My advice, if you're gonna do a 3-word sentence with an open-ended question at the end of it. I don't care what the question is. Do you wear ties often? Question. It doesn't matter, right? You're looking for some kind of thing that they can respond to keep the comments going. Now, when you comment on something, the poster's notified. In activity-based prospecting that I teach in our sales methodology, the way you meet somebody is through their perspective. If you go to a trade show, if you go to an in-person networking event, when you walk up to somebody, you're trying to spark conversation. You don't just walk up to them and be like, and then walk away. You'd be the weirdo, right? You probably get some attention that way. I didn't really think about that before, but the concept of opening a conversation, you're gonna say, hey, I'm Mark. I see you're Ted, looking at a name tag. Tell me what you do, Ted. You're gonna have an open-ended question. Follow the same methodology and you'll get engagement on your posts. You'll get engagement on your comments from those that you wanna meet. Do that before you ask to connect. Okay, tip, hint, trick there. Use the comments to get attention and then connect once you guys have common ground. Okay, so again, proof in the pudding, when we go down here, I'll point out the gentleman that is commenting here. Load more replies. Sahad went on here and trolled a little bit on this post because he put up this activity versus productivity thing. Now, literally think about this, guys. I'm talking about this post right now. She's got more eyeballs on the post than she did before. He went through here and I forget which one I commented on, but he kept putting his picture of his stupid car on here, talking about his twin turbo something for some reason. It's still a mystery to me.
I know this guy, he's a provocateur.
Agreed, but his tactic is really engaging.
Yes.
Couple things here. Number one, he's causing conflict. Number two, he's adding weight to this post and he doesn't even know it because he's adding an image to it. Images and videos are very powerful across the board, and this is not just in posts, this is also in comments. So if you find yourself a champion for somebody and you decide you want to couple yourself to them on LinkedIn, add a little image to something to emphasize your comment. This adds weight to that overall post and adds a level of impression to everything. Krista Green is trying to get in. You will not be admitted. So the concept of using this conflict for comments thing is really cool. Now, I'm not saying do what Sahad did. All right. I'm not advocating for this because this actually kind of pissed off Diana behind the scenes. She's like, he's insulting a bunch of people that I respect.
Well, if you click into, it's not that image, it's the image that has the car and his face on it. It actually calls people, it's not that one. That's just the picture of his car. It's a different one let's see, where was it? It was, I know, like where, right there, that one. See, at the bottom, he's calling people an idiot. And that was the part that aggravated me. I'm like, you can't just come on my post and start calling people that comment on it idiots. That's not okay. So, yeah.
So fundamentally where we're at with this is I'll do things in my posts sometimes, like I'll say marketing automation is garbage. Change my mind, right? And then those, I always get the email marketers that comment on this. They're like, what do you mean? I've been really successful with my email campaigns. No, you haven't been. If we look at your cold open rate, you're gonna tell me that it's a 2% open rate. If you've got 10,000 people on a list, you've pissed off the other 98% of people in some way, shape, or form because you're spamming. It's garbage. Now, I don't necessarily think you shouldn't email automate, to be honest with you. If you have a warm audience and you have something meaningful, splitting your audiences is important, okay? But I will stand in the beginning on marketing automation is garbage. Automation on social media, garbage, change my mind. I'll go into that now. Am I somebody that does automation on social media? Occasionally I do, but it isn't to connect with people. It isn't that, hi, my name is Mark. I sell CRMs. Do you need one? Reach out to me for more information. Not doing that. That's the standard marketing or the social media automation piece. I go into some explanation around it once people start to get in conflict with me and post comments defending their position. Moral of the story here. if you can go in and ask an open-ended question that's kind of suggestive around what you think about something and not necessarily open up the full topic on your thoughts, just pick a piece out of it that's going to be a little bit different than somebody else's, you can start to add to the conversation. Okay. Now, I do like the reactionary stuff sometimes. When I'm on somebody else's post, like Diana or Clay, I put up a newsletter. I commented on a newsletter thing, and he said, "Give me your thoughts around newsletters." I went, 1, newsletters are garbage. 2, newsletters to the right audience have value. 3, newsletters are garbage. So from that, I got all of these comments specifically around the statement I made around newsletters are garbage, but I qualified it right in the post. Clay knows my position on some of this stuff already, and he knows that I'm not really trying to insult anyone. I'm just trying to cause conflict in comments. So when he got a little juice from replies to mine, that fed his post and got him more impressions. That's the game you're playing on here, trying to get impressions on your post. If you're not privy to the LinkedIn stuff, there's something called dwell time that's measured behind the scenes. It's a metric that all social media algorithms measure. If you go and you look at something for 3 seconds, that's actually how Facebook gets paid. Okay, so I'm gonna go off platform on LinkedIn real quick and go to Facebook. Now, disclaimer, this is my personal Facebook feed, and I do have a multitude of friends on here that have very, very skewed positions on a lot of things, so do not judge me for their opinions, okay? Number 1, when you're on Facebook, and LinkedIn's the same way, I'll show you this here in a second. Sponsored ads are in your feed about 20 to 25%. Okay, so every single time your second post that's in your social media feed is going to be an advertisement. You can see that by sponsored here on LinkedIn. It's promoted is what it's called. So I'll scroll down and this is promoted. Okay, this is advertising in your feed. On LinkedIn, it's actually more aggressive. It's about 20% of the time. 1, 2, 3, 4. This next one's going to be 5, 6. Wow, I just blew this up. I'm gonna have to go back and look. I know it works on LinkedIn or on Facebook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is an ad. You can run down your own feed and do the same thing. 1.
Mark, in that latest update, that's where LinkedIn changed that. That's why your numbers aren't right anymore. That was part of the big change last Monday.
Okay, I'll have to look at it again. Usually it's more aggressive on LinkedIn than it is on Facebook because there's 860 million people on LinkedIn. There's 4 billion on Facebook, and your ad space is cluttered on Facebook, so it's a little different. Mute this. So what I'm getting at here is when you start to look at your Facebook feed, there's an algorithm in the background. When you look at your LinkedIn, there's an algorithm in the background that's controlling the information that you see consistently. The idea of manipulating this is what we're getting into. You can manipulate it on the first person level. The concept of knowing what you're doing and tactically approaching with a strategy to execute is very, very important. Now, I will tell you this. I am a LinkedIn expert from my own perspective. Iris teaches LinkedIn stuff. I don't know how to put it another way. Sorry, Iris. Am I on mark with any of this? Am I off mark with any of this?
You're on mark is the short version. Yeah, you're on. I would pivot the 3 words. I think you need about 7 to 10 words to make the comment hold weight. I explain it like a like button or one of those is like a 1-point basket. A comment is a significant comment, 10 words-ish is a 2-pointer. And if someone shares your post, it's like a 3-point shot. So just to make it kind of real practical. So yeah, you're absolutely on point, and comments are the lifeblood of of your power on social media. Absolutely.
So the 3 words was the first sentence. So it's actually 2 sentences that I was pointing out there. So 3 words to say, oh, great post, right? Period. And then say open-ended question after. So there's more words in that to clarify. That's interesting that you said that about the shares. I found the opposite. It's less weighted than comments is for sure.
Well, if someone shares your post.
Right.
Now, they made a change about a year ago that if you share someone's comment, it pushes it down. And polls have been pushed out in the last couple of months. But if someone shares your original content, it's a 3-pointer still.
Okay.
But the strategy used to be that you would just go on and share an article, and that's like, don't even try that. But if someone shares your original content from the latest data I saw, it really helps you.
Okay, thanks.
What if you go back and repost one of your old posts? Like you go back in a week or 2 later and redo it. Does that have any weight at all?
I would say that's probably a waste of time if I understand what you're saying. So no, it really doesn't do anything for you. Now, if you're talking about just keeping the conversation going, if people are continuing to engage over time, yes, you want to continue to engage. But I think you're asking, do you just repost the same post? Is that what you're asking?
I mean, I've heard it from other people, like these posting parties that they do, go back in and repost it 2 weeks later.
No, that's activity.
No, I would avoid that. I can't. I agree that you want to repurpose and whatever, but no, just the exact same. I think you're going to get dinged for that. Probably would be my general rule of thumb thought.
So 2 things that came up there. The repost, I'm in full agreement with that. Waste of time. Now there is something inside of that I would comment on. If you repost and tag people because you want to call out the attention, you're not necessarily going for blanket impressions on that. You're looking for attention from certain people, and that's very powerful. When someone sees their name, it's like looking at a photograph of a group that you're in. They're going to look at their name, they're going to look at their face first, right? So you're giving them a little notoriety when you do that. There's different ways to look at that depending upon the conversation. The second thing in that is posting parties are horrible. That is not a good idea. LinkedIn is smart enough now. This is an old way of doing it. It was called pods in the past. You would have a group of, say, 30 people that would agree to go promote your post, and that would trick the algorithm into bringing it out because they would see activity on it. It's gotten smarter in the last 2 years where that pods approach actually hurts your overall SSI score on LinkedIn. You do not want to do that. And I don't care how many times people say this, it's 150 rotating people. Math is easy for developers, and they've figured out that we're smart about that, and then they've dumbed down the algorithm to hurt you.